Welcome back to Mark Olivet's vlog. Thanks for joining in again today, guys. So it seems like such a fitting night to go for a drive. It's actually been a little while since I've had the F-Type out. Just been busy with a lot of other things. I obviously, you saw last week's video. I had the my wife's Mercedes out for a little bit, and been doing some other chores and odds and sods and things. So it seemed fitting. Now we finally had some weather. We're about plus 35 degrees C today here in Canada, which is actually almost unheard of. We're almost starting to feel like Vegas. This is the kind of weather that I love. I actually love this really warm weather. And I haven't been driving the F-Type as much as I'd like to, but we finally took the car out here for a good drive. And it really reminded me why the Jag is such an amazing car. And today I really want to express why I truly do believe the F-Type, and specifically the R or the SVR, are truly the best sports cars pretty much money can buy right now, and the best overall maybe compromise or car that you could possibly buy right now. Obviously, very difficult to find these on the market. The market's getting tight out there for sure. So it's getting difficult to find them, but if you can get your hands on a decent low mileage Type R or SVR, it's a keeper for sure. So a lot of cars when you buy, obviously I've been shopping for some exotics lately, and I mean, nothing really beats a supercar when you're out on the street and you're cruising. Obviously to get behind the wheel of a Ferrari, nothing does it like a Ferrari or Lamborghini, but there's compromises. You don't want to drive those cars every day because obviously they get too much attention, they're difficult to get in and out of, maintenance costs get ridiculous. You don't even want to drive those cars every day. They get expensive, and quite honestly, they're troublesome. Nothing beats them on a Sunday morning or a Saturday night, but you don't always want that level of attention or essentially that level of finicky. But that's where the F-Type here, I truly believe, hits the mark, the sweet spot. And a lot of you guys are watching the channel because you know that a lot of you already have an F-Type, so you can appreciate where I'm coming from, but a lot of you don't. And I know a lot of you guys are, in the market, maybe looking, considering buying an F-Type, and I would honestly tell you the F-Type strikes every box. And obviously, Ferrari, Lamborghini, they are the best of the best. When you want to take that car out for a hot spin on a Saturday night cruise or a Sunday morning, nothing beats it. But there's so many compromises with those cars. You get way too much attention. Honestly, some days you just want to get in the car and go for a drive. But, driving an Aventador is going to get a lot of attention. You'll get lots of people asking questions, and mostly good, but it just becomes sometimes you just want to drive the car. Well, the F-Type has enough of that clout to attract attention. I mean, these cars do get the looks, but without going overboard. It's not the kind of car that attracts big crowds, although there's still lots of people that do appreciate the looks of an F-Type, and they are really, really sex on wheels. These are awesome cars, the way they look, the curves. Again, it goes back, almost harkens to the Aston Martins, and that's why, to me, these cars really do strike the balance. So you've got the looks, you've got the performance. Honestly, 0 to 60 quarter mile times, I don't even need to quote numbers, it doesn't matter. But I'll tell you right now, this car's quicker than my Gallardo. It's easily eclipses a Ferrari 430. It certainly holds its own with the 458 Italias and those types of cars. So it's got the performance to hold with any of the supercars. I'll also add that it's tunable. And another win with these F-Types is, besides the looks, besides the performance, is you can still show up those car meets and you don't feel like a spud. You're showing up with this car, you do feel like still part of the crew. We have a lot of charities locally here where there's people that bring their Ferraris out and their Lamborghinis and their McLarens, but there's people that bring out even cars like this, the F-Types, and they still do a good showing. They still attract attention. People get a lot of wow factor out of them. And so they still have enough clout that you can show up at the car shows and you don't feel like that guy that's, kind of showing up in a Toyota Corolla at a Ferrari meet. You're just not that, you're not in that realm. So that's where I do believe the F-Type has enough clout to show up at the car shows, to make a good showing, and honestly, the performance and looks and all of that, it meets all the criteria. Now, where this all blends together, and I truly believe why the F-Type is the perfect car, and this is why I kind of wanted to express this in the video, Where I truly believe the F-Type is a perfect car has to do with the simple fact that a Ferrari is not a car you're going to drive in the wintertime. Neither are many Porsches. It's not the kind of car you want to drive a Huracan or a Murcielago or an Aventador in the wintertime. You just don't want to do that. Although we're seeing some YouTube channels starting to do that, and they do it definitely for views. But at the end of the day, those cars are not meant for that, and they're not really in their element. And you still have to put winter skins on it, and you know you're doing damage. I mean, where we live here, when the plows push the snow to the edge of the road, often it's not just snow. A lot of times there's gravel underneath it and sand and salt. And if you hit some of those snowbanks with a Murcielago or with an Aventador or any of those cars, you know what it's going to do to the front spoiler. It's not good. The height, the spoiler height on an F-Type here isn't quite as aggressive. It's low, and it's quite the shelf as well, but it's not quite as bad as it is as you'll find on some of the exotic cars. And a lot of those supercars have the carbon fiber lips. I wouldn't even dream of driving a car like a McLaren, 765 LT, with a carbon fiber lower spoiler and valence. I mean, you wouldn't even dream of driving a car like that, even if you put decent tires on it. So that's where it's so far compromised that those cars really are all not livable, really, for the most part. Whereas the F-Type, you can. Sure, you've got P0s on the skins here. That's what we're driving with right now. We got the Pirelli P0s. They're not good. As you guys saw last year, I did drive my car a few times, although we didn't have a lot of snow on the ground, and it was a little bit dicey, but I took it out on a few dry days. Certainly wouldn't drive it on a snow-filled road, but if you do put winter tires on it, and there's a lot of great options and solutions out there, the F-Type has all-wheel drive now. All the more late model F-Types here now you get with all-wheel drive, other than you can get the V6 version in a rear-wheel drive format and a manual gearbox in certain situations. Most of the current F-Types are actually fitted with all-wheel drive now, other than the early generation cars. So you can drive it in the winter. It's got a better ride height. I don't have to use a nose lift because the front end is high enough to clear most little ice berms and dams and things like that. So it handles the road conditions better in the wintertime. You can show up at the car shows. You've got the performance to match, the looks, the style, and it's got sound that is as good as anything. Yeah. So as I've said, it really does check all the boxes, the sounds, the looks, the performance, and you don't have to feel embarrassed by showing up at the car shows with these cars because they show well. So the F-Type, again, it's been a little bit, I haven't been driving it as much lately, but after taking it out on this beautiful Saturday night, the sun's shining, and it's feeling right and feeling tight for a drive, it reminded me how great these cars are, and I love the F-Type. So for anybody out there considering one, I don't really think of any cars better that really is able to check off all the boxes. I mean, you can get better performance cars, you can get more practical cars, but try to put that all together into one package, and you definitely won't find a car that checks all the boxes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a quick one, I know, but it just reminded me of how great these F-Types are, and I just wanted to let you guys all know. So again, as always, everyone, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there. And I'd love to hear a comment below. Do you guys think that there's even a better daily performance supercar or exotic car available out there? I'd love to hear your ideas. I mean, there's a lot of great machines on the road right now in the market. Audi makes a lot of great all-wheel drive cars that really do check a lot of the boxes too. But let me know in the comment section below. Hope to see you guys real soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.